going on, everybody? I bought a childhood Grail card. Now, I was in savings mode. I was planning on not spending any money until Strongsville, showing up at Strongsville with a whole bunch of money. And then some cards showed up that, there are certain times if a card is not a common card to find, that you have to buy it when you see it. Because if you don't buy it when you see it, it may not be there again. That happened 3 times this month. I completely blew my budget. One of the cards I've already shown, it is the one of one superfractor of my former student, Matt Manning. He struggled a little bit in the spring. He's starting the season in AAA, but that doesn't change the fact that he's a great guy, a great pitcher, and he's a former student. And I picked up a few of his cards this month, which I'll show, including that superfractor. Now, I also have been doing a little bit more TTMing, a little bit more through the mail. And I got some TTM responses this month, and some of them are really pretty cool. Then there was an auction where there were a few cards that I needed to complete a set that I couldn't pass on. And then that childhood Grail. Now, sometimes there are cards that you literally remember the first time you ever saw the card. And I remember that with this particular card. I remember the first time I was at a show and I saw one in a case. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is absolutely incredible. And I knew exactly what it was as soon as I saw it. And I've wanted it ever since. And this month, I got it. I got one. And it's gorgeous. I'm going to share all the stories of that. And I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to show you some of the cards. I'm going to stop the video, and then I'm going to turn the camera back around. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story of the first time I saw this card and why it was so cool. But this is a great month of pickups for me. I have a lot less money for Strongsville than I expected, but I got some stuff I'm really excited to own. The other thing, remember, every month when I do my pickup video, that is when I open submissions for the Midlife Community Show and Tell for that month. So look back over your month of February. What is your single favorite pickup? Your one favorite card that you picked up and added to your collection during February. Down below in the description, there's going to be a link to a Google form, and it'll give you an opportunity to upload an image of your favorite pickup and give me a little bit of information. Remember, simply submitting your card for the show and tell also enters you into the drawing for the Penny Sleevers $25 gift card giveaway. Isaac over at the Penny Sleever is giving away 4 $25 gift cards, and their product really is exceptional. It is fantastic. All of the Penny Sleever products I have are really good, and you can get a $25 gift card simply by uploading your favorite pickup from the month of February. With that said, I'm really excited to show you these pickups. I'll turn the camera around and show them to you, and in a few minutes I'll turn it around again, and I'll explain why one of these is so special.
Okay, so first off, some TTMs. As a lifelong 49er fan, how about one of the best 49ers defensively ever, Patrick Willis? This is his Bowman Chrome rookie card. And I sent this off, man, it was a while back, 6 months ago. Finally came back autographed from Patrick Willis. Warren Moon signs through the mail. Now, he's signing it at Strongsville, but I sent it directly to him. I think it was $10 I sent along with it. And I bought the card at a card show a few months back for, I think, $2. So I'm all in, $12 on a Warren Moon rookie autograph. Next, How about Lee Trevino, one of the best ball strikers of all time? I sent this to Lee. It took about a month or month and a half to get this one back through TTM also. Free of charge for Patrick Willis and Lee Trevino. Warren Moonigan was $10. How about this one? Tim Allen. Now, this is the first card of Buzz Lightyear. And I think it was Skybox that made these. Let me look. Yeah, down at the bottom. Skybox made this set. So I guess this is a Buzz Lightyear rookie card. Sent it, and Tim Allen signs through the mail for free. Some people say it's a secretarial, but I've seen PSA Celeb quite a few of them. So I'm pretty sure it's Tim Allen. And then I've shown you this card. I showed you this earlier in the month. This is a 2022 Topps Chrome Matt Manning Gold Refractor. Again, Matt is a former student and a guy I get to see from time to time. And I showed that one along with this Superfractor, his 1/1 Superfractor of his flagship True Rookie card. And when this came up for sale, I'm like, I'm not going to have another opportunity. There's the 1/1 in the top right corner. If I don't buy it now, I'm not going to get it. So I stepped up and I bought it. So very cool to have his Superfractor. And so I was like, well, I'll get some of the other cooler looking parallels. So here is a Topps Chrome Sapphire orange. And you can see all that sparkle. And the orange are out of 25. So that's a very cool one. Thought that would look good with the others. So I picked that one up. That was cheap. All these were cheap except for the Superfractor. Then here's the Gold Wave. You can see the kind of swirlies in there, unlike the True Gold, which was the first one I showed, and all the golds are out of 50. So I got that one of Matt. So I got a little of everything. I got some modern cards, got some old cards. About to see some really old cards here in just a second. And I wasn't done, though. There was a Gold Ray Wave. A Ray Wave. And I thought this one's, I mean, that's a pretty cool looking card. And these are also out of 50. So I wanted to have a few of those to go with the Superfractor just to show some variety. And I kind of felt like those were the best looking ones. I think I paid like maybe $8 or $10 for that card. But then there was an auction that had some pirate cards for sale. Now, here is the first one. This is Captain Condon. And this is in an SGC 5, which for a card from 1888, a 5 grade, is a very, very high grade. And a beautiful example of it. When this showed up in person, I was absolutely thrilled. You never know until you actually have it in hand. So I bought this at an auction, and there were some others. So I went for a few. And here's the second one. Now, this is an SGC 1. This is Jack Avery. It's really, actually really nice on the front. That is the reason it got the 1. It's got some paper loss, but you can still read a lot of it. And the front is gorgeous. So I picked up that one. And just look how clear that image is. I mean, this is 1888. It's like 140 years ago. Then, I wasn't done. I got this one. This is Captain Jack Rackham. And you could see him doing some shenanigans there in the background. Captain Jack. And this is also in an SGC 5. Again, 5 is a really high grade in these cards. So I got this one. Now, going into the month, I had 10 I still needed. And I picked up these 3. 2 of them were 5s. There were 2 cards left that would be considered big cards. There are 2 female pirates in the set. Well, I got one of those too. Mary Reed is one of the 2 female pirates in the set, and those go for a bit of a premium. And this one is a stunning 4.5. I mean, I don't know how this is only a 4.5. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous card. So I needed 10. I picked up 4. That means I have 6 left in the set of 50. So I continue to hunt for those 6 to complete this set. Who said I'm not a set builder? I am definitely a set builder. Just of pirate cards from the 1800s is all, I guess. You can see Mary in the background doing a duel and coming out ahead with her sword. My goodness. So those were some big pickups.
Okay, I want to stop. Time out. Stop really quickly. And I want to kind of give you a little bit of an explanation as to this last card, this really big pickup for my collection. Now, what I did as a kid is I went to all sorts of card shows. And what would happen is my dad was, a set builder. So he would go through binders and binders and binders of commons looking for upgrades for all of the cards in his set. Now, what I would do is I would go through the whole show like any kid would. And then when I got done, I kind of hung out around where he was. And I would go through all those vintage cases and I would see all of these cards that just absolutely blew my mind. And I would see Gaudi's and T206s, and I would see, all of these cards that you only saw in books. Now, this is pre-internet. I'm like a 10 to 12 to 13 to 14-year-old kid going to these shows, seeing these. And I remember where I was. I remember where the table was at a massive San Francisco card show when I looked in the case and I saw this card. And I was like, that's gorgeous. And I knew what it was. See, this is back where we would get our information out of books. So you'd look in the encyclopedia for information, and you'd look in statistics books for information. And one of the places I remember looking and seeing a lot of information was in the Guinness Book of World Records. And in the Guinness Book of World Records, they would have all sorts of different statistics. And I remember it was either an encyclopedia or the Guinness Book of World Records that I first saw the name Hack Wilson. See, Hack Wilson has the single season RBI record. I never had heard of Hack Wilson until I saw his record. And there were other names in there that I hadn't recognized before, like Sadahara O. See, Sadahara O had well over 800 home runs in the Japanese baseball league. And, everybody would say that Babe Ruth, at that time especially, Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron were the all-time home run kings, right? This is before Bonds came along and all of that. This is probably in about 1989, I would guess. Well, I remember walking up to a case and seeing the most gorgeous Sadahara O card. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that who I think that is? That's the home run hitter from the Japanese league, the guy with over 800 home runs. I've read about him. I've seen his stats. That guy was amazing. And the card was gorgeous. Like gorgeous, gorgeous. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that would be absolutely amazing to own a card that's that amazing. And see, he was on the Tokyo Giants, and the card had this beautiful orange background. And it was a silhouette of him from about his waist up, and he's holding a bat. So here you have a color match with the Tokyo Giants. You've got him holding a bat, and he's the home run king. And you have a tight enough shot that you can see him. And I just thought the card was stunning. And I hadn't seen many of them in my lifetime. Well, fast forward to this year at the National. I go in and, the first, like the one of the first tables, if not the first table in the National, is Prestige, which is the dealer who Robert, I think his name, I can't remember for sure, but really nice guy. In fact, Dylan and Mangini and him had an episode where they talked to him, I believe, on Dylan's channel, Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, and John Mangini. And this guy is like the expert in Japanese cards. So I went up to his table and I sat there and I said, hey, I'm looking through all of his amazing cards. And I go, hey, do you have any of the Sadahara O with the orange background? And he goes, I had one, I sold it. And I was like, oh, man. I go, I've been wanting that card since forever. And I've only seen one on eBay a couple of times. I've seen one in person a couple of times. It's not a common card. Well, come to find out, I ended up finding out later who bought it. Let me show you this quick clip before I show you the rest. So check this out right here.
So this one was sweet. This is like sort of, I get confused with some of the rookies, but this was...
Oh, that's my favorite one. That's my favorite O card. I can tell you as a kid, so he's holding up one of the Sadahara O rookie cards. Now, I literally, as a kid, used to go to some of the biggest shows in the country. We're in San Francisco. And the National, I actually went to a National in San Francisco when I was about maybe 12. And I saw that card, and it blew my mind. That card.
It's insane.
Blew my mind.
I absolutely love it.
So come to find out that Dean is Darren's brother, and he bought the card. And I find this out after the fact, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite card, as you see in the clip. Well, another one came up recently, and there are a couple of reasons why I thought it was an amazing version, an amazing copy of the card. For one, the depth of the orange in the background, I think, is fantastic. Number two, when I talked to the guy at the National, and he's showing me all these different Japanese cards, and I'm learning from him. He's talking about them. One of the things he said was the width of the border, to him as a Japanese card expert, is really important. And the reason is some cards will be better centered, some cards will have sharper corners, but these are hand cut cards. And when they're hand cut, what a lot of people would tend to do is cut them down after the fact to make them sharper and make them centered. So he was saying his preference was any of the cards that have thicker borders, because the thicker borders means it was cut, a bigger piece was cut. And so, somebody could always go in after the fact and have cut a card down. Now, any card, even hand-cut cards, have limitations on the size that they have to be. So you can't cut it down so small that it is within that amount. But any card that has a thicker border, in his opinion, was a better card because that card was not cut down, and that card is more intact from its original state. Made total sense to me. And then this one became available, and all the stars aligned, and the pop of this card is not very high. In fact, I'll put it on the screen right now. It's a low PSA pop, and it's a low SGC pop. I believe the highest one graded, again, off memory, I'll have it on the screen, but is a 2, is the highest graded of the type 1. And I'll explain the difference between the Type 1 and the Type 2 when we look at it. But man, I am absolutely thrilled to add this card that I've wanted to add to my collection for well over 30 years. Check it out.
And I am so excited to show you guys this 59 Manko Sadahara O. Look at the orange background. Look at that beautiful card. I can't believe I have this. So you can see how thick that border is. Almost all of the ones I've ever even seen pictures of, and there's thick border across the top too, are cut way down. And one of the reasons they're cut way down is because then they could trim them up. They're hand cut. So here's the back. Now there's a Type 1 and a Type 2. The Type 1 is a little bit different, and it has the manufacturer mark there. And there's like a blue background, color background, and then like kind of a brown background. This is the blue, which I like better. But, I mean, between SGC and PSA, there are 12 of the Type 1, like this one. And the Type 2, it's not like it's plentiful. There's very few of those as well, where the front is the same and the back is slightly different. I just am absolutely so excited to add this one. Again, the amount of card on it. They're similar to the post serial cards, where a lot of them get cut within the dotted lines and very few of them have lots of extra room. This one has lots of extra room. And for me, it's not about that. It's really about the image. What a month. Strongsville budget has completely been blown, but I got 4 pirate cards, a Superfractor of a former student, and a Sadahara O I've wanted for 30 years.